All my life, I've always just played games with whatever controller I could get my hands on. Whatever was available, whatever was cheap, and if I was at a friend's house, it was whatever wasn't falling apart yet. Pretty much every game that I've streamed or reviewed on this channel has been played with this weird dinky third-party Xbox One controller that I've had for over a decade. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but I've been constantly fighting the right bumper sticking in or not even registering the inputs, begging for a much needed upgrade. And recently, as I've been looking around, 8BitDo kept popping up everywhere I looked. Keyboards, mice, retro pads, modern controllers. This company seems to be making everything you would need, and after seeing a few Amazon reviews and intentionally avoiding YouTube opinions, I decided it was finally time to get myself something reliable. So I pulled the trigger on my very first 8BitDo product, the Ultimate Wireless 2C Black Myth Wukong Edition. It's nothing crazy or a $200 elite tier or anything, but for under $40 it packs way more than I expected. It's compatible with both Windows and Android, connecting via Bluetooth or dongle, has Hall effect joysticks for better accuracy and long-term stick drift resistance, extra L4 and R4 bumpers with programmable button mapping, rumble vibration, all built into a lightweight but sturdy build, and I've been playing this thing for 1 to 2 hours every single day for the last 2 weeks, and it still hasn't even indicated that it has a low battery yet. So for my setup, whether it's been gaming at home or sneaking in a few sessions on my breaks at work, it's honestly perfect. Right out of the box, I was surprised at just how good this thing felt. The matte black finish doesn't attract fingerprints, and I love how tactile all the buttons and triggers feel. And the controller's weight sits right in the sweet spot of being not too light and hollow, or not too clunky or heavy. Visually, the Wukong branding is subtle, but very clean. You get a sleek semi-opaque black shell with artwork printed around the center of the controller, red flame accents on the handles, with matching highlights on the sticks, face buttons, and home button, all packaged on a contoured body shaped with curved grips. It's got a solid build combined with a premium finish that you don't usually see in the sub $40 range. I actually hadn't planned on picking up the Wukong edition at all at first. My wife actually spotted it right as I was heading out to checkout with one of the regular pastel versions. But since I got Black Myth Wukong as a birthday gift last year and it ended up being my game of the year, it instantly hit a sentimental chord. So I wasn't going to hesitate to upgrade, especially since it didn't cost anything extra. And honestly, I'm glad I did. This thing just looks absolutely sick. But great aesthetics don't mean much if the controller can't match the performance, so I spent the last month or so really putting it through its paces. To test how it handled across different genres, I played a mix of Halo games, 2XKO, and Overwatch to give the controller a really good variety to perform on. Surprisingly enough, each game ended up revealing a different strength or feature of the controller. In Halo, the controller made adjusting my aim feel noticeably smoother, and the triggers had a clean, responsive pull that made gunfights feel tighter compared to my previous controller. When using weapons that require a more precise aim like the sniper, I noticed I was pulling off long-range clean shots and quick-scope action in a firefight way more effectively. Movement also felt more controlled, especially during those hectic engagements. Switching over to 2XKO, the D-pad and face buttons immediately stood out with a solid snappy click that made combos feel much more consistent. The analog sticks handled directional inputs with precision, but I tended to lean into using the D-pad more. Something about using the stick for combos didn't feel as snappy and responsive as the D-pad did, but that's always kind of been the case for any controller in a fighting game for me. But another nice feature I found is if you map them right, the L4 and R4 extra trigger buttons can really come in clutch for games like these to make certain combo strings easier to land. It's something to definitely consider when choosing your next controller. Will you really use all the features the controller provides, or do some things become more of a novelty gimmick as time passes? In Overwatch, the difference was most obvious in the longer running sessions. The comfort of using this controller in a long running game of Stadium or competitive is a complete game changer. I was skeptical of it being too small for my hands at first, but the way that the grips contour with improved ergonomics mixed with its lightweight build kept my hands comfortable during extended matches and a breeze to hold this thing for hours. My accuracy, especially when charging in as Reinhardt, felt way more controlled, and I have never experienced any Bluetooth lag or input delay ever during any play session, which is something that used to happen with one of my older controllers. Overall, the biggest difference coming from my old controller to this one is just how controlled and precise everything feels now. Whether it's shooters, fighters, or fast-paced indies, the 8BitDo Ultimate 2C gives me way more accuracy, way more comfort, and way more confidence in what I was inputting. I'm not a controller tech by any stretch. I don't follow every trend or spec sheet, but I totally get the Hall effect hype now. Of course, the stick drift prevention can't be judged over the course of a month, so I'll just pin a comment for long-term updates if there is any. After comparing it to a few controllers I had around the house, the 2C Wukong edition really stands out in terms of its shape and ergonomics. It almost felt identical to a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, the same comfortable curve, familiar grip width, and a natural hand position, but the build quality leans more toward an Xbox One controller, with a sturdier frame and a satisfying weight that makes it more durable without being overly heavy. The triggers are noticeably cleaner and smoother than the standard Xbox Ones too, with a lighter pull that still delivers a crisp controlled resistance. The thumbsticks have a slightly firmer tension too, which helps with precision whether you're landing